All right, all praise to the Most High Yahweh and to His Son, my brother, Mashiach Yahushua. Peace and blessings to my brothers and sisters from the Israelite tribes. All right, in this video, I'm going to get into some thoughts about the current situation in various places in America and Ukraine. So, what I've been watching is an old channel that I used to subscribe to and watch. It's a decent channel. I just um, took it off because if I'm constantly searching for it and it tends to already in the search engine for YouTube, it's already telling you um, that there's another video available. So I'm like, well, all I gotta do is just, hit the search and hit the whatever instead of going through my long list of subscription. So, but anyway, um, the channel is Judging Freedom. It is a former um, government official. I believe he, besides uh, Andrew Napolitano being a judge, I think he was some type of government representative. But yeah, he worked for Fox for a long time. He was a judge, and he has a very good interviewing style. He's he's supposed to be a libertarian. I think he still is a libertarian. Um, More so towards the conservative end, basically. Um, Liberal with business and economics, but conservative with values and morals. So he tend to have a very good panel, and he's very good with interviewing, and he often have this gentleman named Scott Ritters on the show for like updates and insights on Russia and Ukraine and Israel as well. This guy used to be like a weapons inspection or auditor for United States and different, theaters. So other than that, ex-military. Then he became this inspection guy, and now he's just a retired civilian. So they're talking about in this part of the video. I'm gonna just show you this part. So right around the 20-minute mark, they are getting into something that is an irony. It's something that is like a callback to what was going on in the late 80s, 90s, and maybe like early 2000s, and then it sort of went away. And it's this whole patriot movement thing that used to be a thing, and I'm saying it a patriot movement thing in the way not of militia or national terrorist groups, but citizens, more so white citizens, knowing their rights of carrying firearms and other rights, and they tend to often would get into escalated stops with cops and stuff. And in the 90s, when it was like at its peak, with white people versus the cops. Uh, it used to like often you would hear about just people with guns shooting cops, and and not just that, but like sometimes it would be like ambush style. But a lot of it comes from that mentality, that privilege, that pride, and lineage of having, your ancestors building the country, and now it's up to you to defend the rights or your privilege. Not everybody rights, not everybody privilege, but your family privilege. So this gentleman Scott Ritter was talking about the uh, situation on the college campuses where the cops were beating up professors and stuff, and nobody was doing anything to the cops or the school. And he was like, if he was there, he would have to go to jail because that's his right. That's his, and it's common sense. Yes, it is, but a lot of people don't understand, especially with UT. The situation with UT is UT is a very big school system and a very good, I mean, a very big school property owner. So they reinvest a lot of the money that they get into that they get from the government into land grants. So they have like a big land grant uh, 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 what's the word I'm trying to use? Like a big land grant committee or office to where they could, allocate those resources in buying, land for the school. Because the UT, they tend to have like high school costs and everything, and in Texas, if you're a resident, you pay more uh, versus out of state people and so on. So Texas, they didn't want to lose out on the federal grants, so they when I say they, most likely the campus and the alumni, uh, the administration at the campus did that versus Abbott. Abbott could have done something about it, but he's a alumni. I mean, he's not alumni, but I'm thinking about Rick Perry. My bad, but he knows that Texas and Texas A&M, these are big schools that are getting free money to you know use for property and for you know um, other tax exemptions. So um, you don't want to mess up with those people getting their resources and money and kickbacks, and you don't want to mess up with your future donors and your old donors, um, children and grandchildren um, situation. Nevertheless, the irony is, most likely those people, children and grandchildren, are on the lines protesting against the inherent privileges that they are associated with. That's the other irony. So you have that situation as a dynamic coming back. The whole so-called patriot movement, um, white people knowing their rights and being forceful towards authority with their rights, and The irony is, Karen, all those Karens are the pre-runner to the male Corys coming into play, and then you have Karen, Corey, and now you have, uh, I want to say probably a Brad coming into play with guns in the Second Amendment and saying, hey, you know, he's not gonna even call his attorney. He's gonna just go, okay, I know my rights. You violate my rights, I'm gonna shoot you, and I'm gonna, move on with my life. And because a lot of time, some of those people look at it like that, like a life and death situation. So you have that dynamic with Karen, Corey, and Brad versus when I was on TikTok, there was this story about cops shooting um, a couple, and I haven't seen all of the situation or anything, but what was going on in this video was um, this black couple, young couple, was stopped, and it's almost like they were stopped for no reason, and the cops just wanted to do searches, but not just that, but these was like wasn't regular cops. Some of the cops that was handling this situation, it was like almost like a gang unit because they had street clothes in the police department vests, protective bullet uh, vest on, and the young man, he wasn't getting out of control or crazy. He was just talking to the people on his phone, maybe like a live. It's very common that a lot of young people or even adults, they'll stream their content of a traffic stop just in case something happened. Um, the viewers and the followers could record and to be a witness to what is going on. And so basically, the cops couldn't find anything, so they heavily started to harass the young person that was in this situation. And the cops felt like um, the young guy was being uh, very. I had the word in mind. I'm sorry. It's early in the morning, very early in the morning for me, but they felt like he was showing off on live with them being frustrated with not finding anything in the vehicle because I guess it was looking for drugs or weapons, and maybe they found them, maybe they didn't, but um, basically towards the end of this video, um, everything started to escalate because I guess at that point they couldn't find anything, and the gentleman, the young black guy, was starting to irritate them with the life, and it was one of those moments to where you could hear the tone in the cop's voice that they was gonna resource to something other than a warning or a citation. So we black people, I say black people in general, even though A lot of my content is towards DNA information and towards people finding out who they are, their race, and their identity. But when it comes to this society, this Western and sometimes even Eastern society, dark complexion people are the same. We all the same. We all look alike. We all probably smell alike. We all probably, to them, I'm saying it to them, we fit a mold that they've been programmed to just hate. And I understand that not from Hollywood or from articles, but it's the case. We as taxpayers, we're paying everybody from Europe, everybody from Israel to fund. We fund those countries, period. But we also give them money to have the cops come over here and teach our cops how to handle our citizens. The only difference is they sending cops and military personnel over to train cops here. So um, I don't know if black people are gonna do what white people was doing before, and there's a high possibility that white people are gonna heavily become armed because now all of a sudden they don't trust the government, they don't trust their neighbor, and they sure don't trust the cops. And now you're starting to see several divides. You're talking about the Civil War that's supposed to happen in America. Like, it's starting to look like Ukraine and Russia all over again, with closely related people being angry at each other, and basically, almost like our original World War situation, where you had families that tend to, you know, disagree on business practices, even though all of them was participating in a form of legal versus illegal slavery. So, um, white people talk about black people with the black on black crime situation when they have a major problem with global wars, destabilizing um, their ancestor countries, and with civil wars, like they always at war with themselves. So how can you become a hypocrite when most of your history or world history is dealing with white people, conflict against another group of white people, you know, before they move the dark people out the way, after they move the dark people away. Um, and you have these same people. I'm okay with segregation because at least other groups of people will be out the way, and we could watch and see how white people, you know, communities and dynamics tend to fall apart and fall apart anyway, because none of those people in the suburbs or those elite gated communities, none of them like the HOAs, luxury high-rise buildings. None of them like their maintenance fees. So a lot of these people are not happy with their utopian society because one, don't even believe their privilege exists. White privilege for them is not existing, even though they could literally do drugs at a traffic stop, and the cop is not even paying attention to the substance or what the person is doing until the person is literally doing it right in front of them. It's like, I don't know if people seen that video. It's an old video, and I saw it on YouTube. And it was basically um, a cop that was giving a white guy the benefit of the doubt on everything, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna just give you a citation and let you be on your way." Old guy basically starts sniffing drugs in the car, and the cop, he's doing the citation work or whatever work he need to do to make the traffic stop go away, and he noticed on the camera and from his car, he's like, what is this guy doing? Like, is he doing, like, if he's, is he sniffing something? And he gets out and he walks to him, and he's like, probably thinking, if he put the stuff away when I get there, I'm not gonna do anything. But it's on his dash cam, like, and the guy basically was still doing it. He's like, "Are you doing coke?" And the guy's like, "Yes, sir, I am." So, um, white people have that pride and that boldness sometimes about them to drive fear into cops, because like that's their cops, that's the cops kryptonite. That's why in the 90s when people was shooting cops, um, they froze, because they was like, you know, what if this is an ambush? What if it wasn't what if, but it was like, I know this person has a gun. I gotta be careful with what. And this was before, all those gun cards or gun certification and licensings showed up on your record with your IDs and stuff. So it's like uh, they were freeze, and um, that point in time versus now, um, especially with the outside training. I think one of the reasons why they started to do um, outside country training was because of the Patriot movement, because of people having guns, mostly white people, and them being worried about, you know, this whole thing about white people, militias, and so on, and just them being outnumbered all the time at a stop. So I think, if anything, a lot of black people should look into those YouTube clips. I don't know if they're still around, but in the 90s, just look at the behavior. And yes, we can't really do what the white people do with the gun stuff and with the ambushes. I'm not saying that, but I am saying, be very mindful of the tone and the questions, because like, you can always sue if they wrongfully harass you and arrest you. Basically say what you need to say, plead the fifth, and be done. And as soon as they let you get a attorney and whatever, you tell them your side of the case. You tell them to audit body count, audit your phone, and be done with it. And come up with a settlement. Be like, hey, I wanna sue, but I could take a settlement. Other than that, um, we do need to start to know basic things about our rights, and that's the whole understanding that we should have. You know that driving is a privilege. It's not a right. Knowing at the traffic stop, you don't have to tell them detailed points of your day. You just tell them, I decided to go out, and that's it. You don't need to tell them detailed information about much of anything else. Because once you do, you start to give them access and a verbal warrant and a verbal okay to invade your privacy. They could say, "Oh, he's uh, uh, what's the I want to use all these legal terms for um, this thought, but when you're not being fully cooperative with the investigation, they basically charge you for that. They basically charge you for withholding evidence and everything else, but um, you plead the fifth, and that's it. You know, um, they are responsible for their reactions, and you can sue from that point on if they do anything um, worthy of a lawsuit. Um, let's see, Russia. So this is a callback to when I was talking about what Russia really wanted to do. So Russia is influencing. It's the same thing as destabilizing, influencing. Um, but Russia is very smooth at destabilizing and influencing with people, country, politics, and everything. And I'm talking about Georgia. So Russia is gonna need territory on the back end of Europe and Asia to move a very big military um, apparatus, via tanks and whatever they want to move through land versus ships on the sea. Um, they're gonna need a very big amount of real estate to move military personnel into the Middle East, mostly into Syria, because what they want to do, they want to get as close to um, Israel as possible. And this is going to be the setting up for the Battle of Megiddo. So, um, Ukraine, Crimea, all that is just a buffer zone. As you can see, how Ukraine is able to launch drones, basic drones, into Russia to hit within Russia. So, Russia is trying to create a big buffer zone, not so much for Moscow or you know Western Russia. Mostly it's for Eastern Russia because as soon as they are done with this Nets offensive, they're gonna start to move resources over to the east end of Russia. They have already a lot of resources in the east end of Russia. So they're gonna move more resources. So uh, war with NATO is a head fake because they already know they could unleash the Poseidon missile to basically not to nuke. They could use one without a nuclear warhead, and they could just send a tsunami weapon to flood or to do whatever they need to do to Western Europe. And those Poseidon missiles are known for tsunamis. So last week, a week ago, and this week, you had this so-called uh, weather anomaly that was picking up on the radar, and this was coming from South uh, Africa area, Antarctica, and everybody was speculating that it was HARP, and some people was like, no, it's not HARP, it's Russia testing a tsunami um, weapon. And I believe that may be the case. And they did it, that anomaly uh, happened, consecutive weeks in a row. So I think uh, if and when Russia feel like taking on NATO, they're gonna just rain hellfire on them and send a tsunami after them afterwards. It's the same option that North Korea is gonna use for South Korea. South Korea has more technology-based equipment. They do have the THAAD air defense system, but at the same time, they are heavily loaded with long-range, hypersonic, uh, million millions rounds of artillery shells. So that air defense system in South Korea would easily be overwhelmed. And I have the feeling that Russia would do that to NATO in a heartbeat. So, but in a heartbeat, if uh, the U.S., if and when the U.S. give Poland nuclear weapons, if and when that day come when Russia gets tired of NATO, um, Poland will probably be the first country to try to use the system. The only problem is would they be quicker than Russia at using it? Because once you start it, like everybody um, knows due to the surveillance, due, due to spies, everybody gonna know your movement with nuclear capability. So once you get that thought in your mind, Russia is going to be waiting with a contingency and with a quick answer. So, and when you that close, yeah, it's not going to be that good. Yeah. So those are my thoughts. But Russia is definitely destabilizing Georgia. And yes, you could go, well, maybe a lot of people in Georgia want to be pro Russian, and that's good. It really doesn't matter because Russia just want to use everything to its advantage to move resources wherever it can to get ready for a war that probably been 30 years in the making, and that's World War III. So once they secure that buffer zone in Ukraine, and once they have every possible military personnel trained up in Ukraine with combat experiences, then they'll start to relocate them if they haven't already relocate them to Belarus and to eastern Russia. So Russia is like, well, we got one Jewish state down and one more to go. And I'm talking about Ukraine and Israel. Ukraine being the original state where those people started the conversion into the religion, and then they start to say, "Hey, we the people," because they already knew the history. They knew the Israelites were still around. They just wasn't in Israel anymore. So Russia is like, okay, we got this job almost done. We got to move and relocate and get ready for this process of elimination. And remember, all these people are the same groups of Japhetic people. Um, so that was basically everything that I wanted to share with y'all. It was basically a rant and a, you know, maybe a semi informative video because some people probably go, what give white people the right to act this way? What give black people the right to act this way? Well, black people, slavery, and the awareness of themselves and their society versus white people and them not being aware of themselves but worry about their rights and privileges. And with that being said, I want to say all praise to the Most High, Yahweh, and to his son, my brother, Amashiach, Yahweh Shai. Peace and blessings once again to my brothers and sisters from the Israelite tribes. I want to say thank y'all once again for the comments and for the views. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section according to the community guidelines. I shall reply to it with a comment or a video. With that being said, peace and blessings to all y'all. Thank y'all.